Truck Talk Media.
C10 Talk, episode 199. Interviews from the C10 Fall Revival. See how they do it out in North Carolina. Here we go.
And I actually went and bought a 6.0 with a matching 4L80. Low mileage motor. Great deal I got on it. Brought it back to the shop. Started tinkering around with it, cleaning it up. And I raised the hood out on this truck one night. I was out there late, and I raised the hood. And I just started looking at what wiring harnesses I was going to have to cut and, what I was going to have to unbolt. And I just literally couldn't make that first cut. The truck is so original. So I'm just like, you know what? It's the original motor. It's been in here since 72. I'm going to rebuild it and put it back in. It's been this good until now. It can stand the test of time. It already has. Yeah. So I put it back original.
Damn, son.
Let me tell you what Melvin's Post is packing right here. All right, we've got 411 posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some fucking muscle.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind? That just happened.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 truck podcast.
And now I have a chance to be the best, maybe the best in the world.
My old man is a television repairman. Ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
I said I got 50 cents in that jukebox, and all I can hear is your mouth clapping. You hear that?
Here's your host, Ronnie Welch.
What's up, C10 Nation? How about a little C10 Fall Revival, second annual coming at you. What a show. Great weather, amazing venue, and really nice trucks and really nice people. So super stoked. First time I'd been to North Carolina and really glad that we made the trek. Flew out Friday, got in about 5 o'clock. We lost a few hours from the PHX. I flew out with Sammy Castronova. We met up with Johnny Oro and Carlos Vidalis, dropped lowered. Cruised over to the hotel, and then at that point we kind of hung out in the parking lot, started kind of seeing some different people, and word was that they were all at the venue that night. So Friday we went out to the venue, got a little first-hand look at everything and some of the trucks that were in the big shop, which was cool to kind of check them out. And it was good, man. It was fun. Again, they said they had about 800 trucks, really nice, some nice ones. The one thing I noticed, I feel like there was a lot more 67 to 72. So I don't know if that's just kind of something back east over there or what. But yeah, I felt like I definitely saw more 67 to 72s, whereas I think like when I'm in Texas, I see a mix. But the one thing I see a lot, I feel like predominantly I feel 81 to 87s is what I see when I'm out there in Texas. Terry's show, C10's in the park. That's kind of what I see. Here, AZ, again, a good mix, but probably 73 to 80 squares I feel like might be the winner if you think about it. But I don't know. I'll have to really start kind of paying attention to that. C10 Intervention, probably a mix. LST, big time mix. So a lot of variety out there. I feel like what I kind of picked up was North Carolina is a little mixture of what they kind of build. You've got a little farm truck. You've got some NASCAR influence. You've got some, maybe a little bit of West Coast in there, but definitely some Houston, some big lip on some of those trucks. So a lot of variety coming back at you. We made the Waffle House run on Friday night. That was a good time always. But, when you're in North Carolina, you got to go hit up the Waffle House. Probably stayed out a little too late on that one. What ended up happening on Saturday morning, we probably should have got up a little earlier and made our ass to the show. But we were running a little bit behind, and we couldn't get a ride out there. So all the trucks were gone, And that was kind of funny. But I just did want to throw a shout out to C10, so C10 SE, so C Tennessee, kind of C10 SE. And I think it's Chris and Stuart, the two brothers. But we walk out of the hotel, bam, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And they're like, yeah, we're going to the truck show. I guess they had to come back to get a battery or something for one of their cameras. So the hotel where we were at was probably, 10 minutes from the show. And I don't know that there's a closer one because the show is out in kind of just out. It's a big old property and beautiful home on a beautiful shop. So it's not like you're, right there at the hotel and stumble out to the show. So you definitely need to have a ride. And we figured that out. So next time I go, I'll probably have a rental car with me. One thing that I think should be mandatory, I know nothing's going to happen to this, but everybody needs to put their damn face on their Instagram because everybody does such a great job of posting up all their trucks. But when you're at a show, if somebody's not by their truck, then you might get caught talking to them and you're like, I don't even know who am I talking to? And they may know who you are. You may not know who they are. And then later to find out, you're like, oh shit, I was talking to that guy. That's who that is. And you put it together with their truck. So that's why we came out with those little name tags for Dinos. And we're going to do them again this year. But we might have to start doing a bunch of name tags because if people don't put their faces on their social media, and then you try to meet somebody, you may not even know who they are. So that was kind of a funny thing where I was talking to people and then I figure it out later, or sometimes I wouldn't even figure it out. And I guess I don't know. I'm getting old and maybe I don't remember names the way I used to. Man, I used to freaking, I don't know. I feel like I could remember a lot of people's names and I still do, but I guess if there's no face on your damn social media, then I never get to figure out who the hell you are. Let's jump over to a few reviews real quick, and then I'll get you on over to the interviews. Let's see here. This is Woodard3632, 5 stars, C10 Talk. What a great pod and what an ambassador to the scene Ronnie is. Thank you very much. I even sent him a DM when I got my new GMC in 2018, and he responded, and he walked me through how to listen to the podcast through my Bluetooth. Haven't missed an episode since. Thanks for all you do, Ronnie. Thank you, Woodard3632, 5 stars. Appreciate the review, and thanks for tuning in.
5 star, perfect. Thank you.
Another one, the best, 5 stars by 74 LWB long wheelbase 454. 74 long wheelbase 454. My favorite podcast to listen to when driving a dump truck. What about if you're not driving a dump truck? I'm just saying. Okay. Living in MN, Minnesota, maybe, it helps me get through the winters and imagine summertime cruising in my C10. All right. Awesome. 74 long wheelbase 454. Appreciate that one.
5 star, perfect. Thank you.
All right, one more. Ford Fan 786. Oh, Ford Fan. Here we go. 786. Ford Fan 7. Oh, this is Solomon. What up, Solo? Thank you, brother. One of the best pods out there. 5 stars. What's up, Ronnie? Wanted to say what a great job you do for the truck community as a whole. This podcast has taught me a lot and kept me sane for some long road trips. All the best, Solomon. Well, this is kind of cool because Solomon left that back in April. This is from April. And I don't think he was really on board yet for the F100. So he is one of the co-hosts of F100 Talk. So if you don't know who Solomon is, he's shot so many different trucks in the scene. Street trucks, C10 Builder's Guide, F100 Builder's Guide, and one of the hosts for F100 Talk. Solomon Lunger, the Ford Era, and Unibody Union on social media. So, bam. Thank you, Solo. Thank you for doing that, and thank you for the review. You guys, please, let's get these things going. Let's see where we're at. We're at 588. Come on. We're 12 away from 600. Do me a favor. Get online. Leave me a review. Scroll down if you're on your iPhone, and give us 5 stars. Let us know what you think, good, bad, or indifferent. And we do appreciate it. All right. Leave us a review. Share the pod. How about you want to hear from Robbie from United by Trucks? I bet you do. Dude is kicking butt over there, UBT, and his clan and his crew. We did get to see them out at C10 Fall Revival, and that was cool. Most of them, most of them were there. But Robbie, United by Trucks, episode 200. So that'll be the next pod. I think I'm skipping 1 week and then we'll be back. I wanted to kind of put that one out there right before the get down, so everybody could listen to that and get all caught up. Plus, give Robbie some time because I know they're going to be getting ready to make the trek out, and it's busy. Life is busy. So episode 200 is going to be Robbie from United by Trucks, and looking forward to that one. Speaking of the get down, November 12th, which is Thursday, is going to be the Trey 5 pre-party. 13th, Friday, the get down, and then 14th, also the second day get down. So this is the 10th annual. This is the first time Dino and the crew have done a 2-day event, so we're looking forward to that. November 12th is the pre-show over at Trey 5. The 13th, the one and only, the quintessential 10th annual get down, baby. Remember, it's a 2-day event, but we got to mask up to get down. I hope you guys will do it. I hope you comply, and we can have a great get down, the 10th annual. Let's make it happen. Thanks again to all the C10 Fall Revival crew, Lou, Casey, Smith Concrete for the amazing hospitality, everybody that we met, all the new friends, all the old friends, the people that we got to see. Thanks again for the hospitality and a great show. Thank you so much. Do what you do, stay out of trouble, and please leave us a review. We'll be back in a few weeks with Robbie from UBT. Thanks, guys. Late. Boom. Saturday, C10 Fall Revival, and who better to start things off with than C10 Briggs. Briggs, man, I think it's been kind of ironic. We just dropped our next gen C10 episode with Halen and Cody, but you were, on the original next gen. I'm going to say that's been about 3 years ago. How, when you look back to then to now, your truck's here, you're done, you're at the show, you've grown up, 3 years has changed. Friggin' kid's got a full facial hair thing going on right now, and I'm like, damn, what happened to you? So yeah, they're all little babies are all grown up now. So Briggs, welcome back. How are things going? And what a relief to kind of get this thing out on the road.
I mean, it's been awesome. Finally got truck done and was able to debut at Brian's show. Been in 19. Yeah, we debuted 19 and I've put almost 7,000, 8,000 miles on it in a year and a half and drive it every day. It's been great to have it done.
What's the response been? When you think about your dad, your family, obviously even your mom, they're a C10 family. You guys, the first time I think I met these guys, they went all the way out to Brothers, and they did a family trip, turned a California trip from Ohio, and now we got to watch your dad source parts for this truck. You guys are creating parts, and you guys built this as a family build. Really, you, your mom, your dad, your grandpa, everybody involved in this, and you've been bitten big time by this C10 bug.
Yeah, it hit big time. I know we started out with one or two and static drop trucks, and then we ended up with a couple bag trucks running around, and everybody's involved. You got uncles and family and friends, and everybody's helped, and it's the only way we can do it back home. Ain't got enough people, to get everybody involved. It's
whether they like it or not, they're going to help out. Any situations that you really had to overcome?
Yeah, I guess probably the biggest struggle was not being able to find a job being under 18 and having to be able to try and get money to pay for parts on the truck without having a job. You got to kind of find the small work around that you can do and just keep collecting and eventually get to the point where you're like, all right, I think I got enough. I can spend this and buy this and get a few more parts and just take off from there and start putting it together.
Now that you've built this truck, you've got a rad ride and you're rolling. Do you find that people now want you to do work for them?
Yeah, actually, I've had a few people contact me and get a hold of me, and I would love to do it more, but we're in a one-bay garage right now, so it makes it a little bit tough because we got 4, 5, 6 of our own to try and work on. So actually building a truck for Scott Shampton, as Ronnie would like to call him. I'm trying to get it finished, and hopefully we'll have it done here in the near future, be able to have it done at a show debut.
How about school? When you roll this thing to school, you're a junior in high school, what do your friends say?
It's not as big of a deal because, a lot of people don't know much about it, but then I started at a trade school, and there's a lot of automotive lab kids there that really understand, and they're like, man, this is so crazy, and there's a square body there, and quite a few friends of ours that all are younger and have trucks now, but it's pretty cool. I got a friend back home, Colton. He's got an OBS step bed. It's slick, too. Another one that we all kind of helped and benefited on, help everybody out, but it's pretty cool.
So is that kind of when you go to the trade school, kind of more of your own style, right? Your own people. You guys are helping one another, and it's a community of truck people that are digging on your truck, and you get to kind of dig on theirs.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because I know a few of them I've talked to in the hallway and stuff, and we get to meet each other, and we were all from different small local towns and never knew each other. And then there's one kid I know that's got a square body and a few OBSs and stuff running around. And you just finally get to meet those kids. It's like, hey, we got trucks too. Let's hang out sometime and end up meeting up and kind of doing something together with younger kids together, because it's a small group.
What's your kind of skill of choice when you go to trade school? Are you doing machine, fab, welding, or do you do a little bit of everything?
I just started in at an engineering class first year because I got to take it before I can go into the machine class second year. So I really want to do engineering manufacturing is what they call it. So it's all CNC equipment and stuff. And I'd like to learn that and go to college for a few years and get some of that under my belt and hopefully end up with something pretty good out of it.
Cool. What is your favorite part about the truck, or, when you look back and you think about the journey of this truck and what it means to you, kind of walk us through that part.
I'd say the most meaningful part for me is I've ridden this truck since I was 2 or 3, and Dad's had it forever, so it's always been something that was around in the family, and it means a lot to have that truck that you grew up riding in and Dad messing around doing burnouts in. It was just the one for me, and it was good to finally get to have it and make it something that it really wasn't before. It was pretty rough when we started.
Yeah, you kind of have to have that pride where you think about that you created this, you took this to this next level, and now people are checking it out at a show, and it's more than just just a vehicle to you guys. It means so much more. It's a kind of a heart and soul of the family. It's a member of your family.
Yeah, the Pete is the name of it, and man, it's been around for as long as I was alive, really. And I remember riding it when Dad would drove it daily, sunshine, rain, snow, salt. It ate it out after 10 or 12 years of miles, and it finally ended up with a completely new body, and we kind of started from nothing. But it was way too rough to try and bring back from the dead almost.
Is there something that you would like to keep adding to this truck, or what do you have goals for a new part or any kind of upgrades to the point where you have it now?
I have a 400 small block I'd like to put in it, something a little more power. It's got a Saginaw 4-speed in it right now, and we've broke 2 of those now, so I'd like to get something, maybe 5-speed with overdrive would be nice, because the 70 mile an hour down the highway doesn't like just the 1-to-1 ratio in 4th gear. It's a little bit much.
Yeah, tacking that RPM up and having a good time and hearing that whine the whole way. But I'll tell you what, for you guys out there, if you want to check out a rad build, rolling on transits, he's got the little small block in there. It's got the patina. It's got all the right flavor. And we're really glad to just know this family and know that there's families out there like this, because it's really what it's all about. We come together over this metal, and it's a rad build that we know that you'll have in your family and you'll have personally probably for the rest of your life.
Not going nowhere. It'll stay forever.
Check him out online, C10 Briggs, and you can check out the Pete. And we appreciate your time. Thanks, Briggs.
Yeah, thanks, man. It was a good time.
All right, we got a New Creations takeover here. We got Jason Mode, and front and center in the Smith Concrete shop here at the C10 Fall Revival. You've got it's a little bit like a mini SEMA for you, Jason. We've got about 5 or 6 trucks that you've got inside the hangar, and I tell you what, not one of them is something to flip your hat up to. This is the real deal. So welcome to C10 Talk. Thanks for taking time out of your day, and love what you got here. You're showcasing a lot of quality builds.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it a lot. We enjoy what we do, and just honored to be here.
Tell us about your shop.
So we have a little shop in eastern North Carolina, about halfway between Charlotte and Asheville. We do full builds in-house. Been doing it about 20 years now. We do all of our interiors and paint and body, everything, you name it, from the ground up. So we're just a one-stop shop.
Well, here you've got a C10, you've got an 85 K10, which is just absolutely stunning. You've got another C10 over there. You've got a C10 that you did some interior, and then you've got this rad first series Suburban. Are you mostly a Chevy shop, or do you guys do a little bit of everything?
Yeah, we do a little bit of everything. We're known. My dad sold truck parts for years here locally, for 33 years, and Tommy's Pickup Parts formerly. And we do a little bit of everything, but we're known as some truck guys in this area. But we do automotive cars, whatever, bikes, whatever also.
Well, what do you think about the C10 community and how crazy this has really gotten over the last, let's say, 5 years? If you were a truck guy, you were born, raised into it, you've seen the growth, but now this is just, not only is it crazy across the country, but this is the second year here, and they're saying that there's over 700, 750. So the craziness, the movement, it's off the charts.
It is, yeah. The trucks, obviously they've been hot for a few years now, and I don't see them slowing down anytime soon. And I think one thing that makes them so hot is the C10 community is so tight knit, you know, and everybody's just laid back and everybody's into everything. You know, there's it's just a really good community, and we do a ton of trucks, so we know a lot of people in the C10, you know, community. We probably work on, I'd say, 45 to 50 trucks a year, different trucks a year in one form or another.
Now, some of these obviously full restos. This truck here, he's got a 6768 flush mount glass, the color, the stance, the wheels, everything that you did on this truck. I was like, I wonder if he raised this bed floor on this, because I see where the wheel well is, and did you just notch it and then raise it all and then make it look like it?
We did, yeah. We cut all the flanges off the original bed sides and raised it up to match that upper body line, and then we stopped it there because I thought it was a good look, and then we just welded it all back, made it look factory. The thing is, you know, is the little stuff. You know, I want them to look factory but yet be custom.
Well, you've nailed it, and you know, with the flush mounted glass, it just adds that whole different level. Now, when you work with the builder or the owner of this build, is that something as a shop that you are getting full reign, or are you working closely with them and saying, okay, tell us what you think you want, we'll work with you, and then you kind of come together with the plan?
Believe it or not, I guess because of our reputation and how many we do, I get probably 75 to 80% full reign on all of our builds that we do, which is great for us, because then we're not tied to trying to build your exact vision. You know, we can collaborate with your vision and ours and come up with something that's pretty cool in the end.
Now, how about the color on this little beauty?
They're both one-off colors. What we try to do, if we're going to two-tone or do like our engine bays, we normally do our engine bays interior color, is we'll pick out the leather or the material that we're going to use, then we'll match the paint to it. And so that's obviously a one-off color. And then the blue on this truck particularly is a color that we started out with. It was actually more of a gray, and we just started adding blue pearls until we got the exact right hue that we wanted, and that's how we come up with it. So this 67, the burgundy 67, and the gray square body are all custom colors.
Well, the 85 square, you mentioned that, the square body for Fever. This thing's got a little plate. I'll take a little video of it, but this thing is a beast. Another client?
Yes, sir. Yeah, another client, actually out of North Carolina, and just a good guy to work for, and a good build last year. Went really smooth and turned out pretty good in the end.
I tell you what, this guy stands out because we're in the shop here, and it's the only four-wheel drive, and it's not just a little four-wheel drive. It looks like he's got about a 6-inch lift, rolling 37s, I'm thinking, and it's a beautiful truck.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we were happy with the way it turned out. We're not known as in the four-wheel drive scene. You know, it's all either static drops or airbags or something. But we built a couple of four-wheel drives, and it was good for us to be able to bring it out just to show that, you know, how we can do the K10s and stuff.
What's the biggest challenge for you as a shop owner who's obviously well-versed in these things and been around it a long time? You grew up in it, like you mentioned, with your dad. What's the biggest challenge that you see right now that you face?
Probably the biggest challenge is just getting a hold of these trucks anymore. You know, I mean, they're going, and when they're going for top dollar, you know, to even start with. But they're hard to find that's in good shape. You know, it seems like most of the things we start with now are just basket cases, and that's the biggest challenge, is getting something solid to start with.
A lot of really intense labor then, because you might find something that needs more metal work. You might not be finding quite the cream puff we were able to find back in the day, so then your labor has to match what you're finding.
That's right. Yeah. So, you know, and you know, of course it drives the cost up for the customer and everything, which is just part of it, you know. But it's tough to find something good to start with.
Ironically, we're paying more than we ever have for stuff that maybe isn't quite as nice as it used to be, which then costs more because of everything else. So either way, it's a passion, it's a hobby, and we're glad there's shops out there like you guys. Jason, keep doing what you're doing. Social media is going to be New Creation.
Yeah, New Creations on Facebook, or Jason Mode /New Creations on Instagram.
And all these builds will be on there. I'm going to do a quick walk around and post it up. A really nice assortment here at the C10 Fall Revival. Very well represented. Jason, thanks for your time, and thanks for your passion for these builds.
I appreciate you coming out. I appreciate you having us on, Ronnie.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I have Andrew from Painless on. Andrew, our guys are thinking about rewiring their truck. Why should they choose Painless Performance?
Well, Ronnie, we've been doing it 30 years now. We're American made, American proud. We have unmatched tech support. You'll get one of our guys right here in Fort Worth, Texas, if you have a call, and our installation manual is full color and covers everything you need to know.
You guys offer a ton of different varieties. Break that down a little bit for us.
Yeah, so we cover everything from 63 to 87, specific C10 harnesses. It'll be, a little more plug and play for kind of a stock or lightly modified truck. But then for those real radical, smooth firewall, air ride, crazy builds, we have the Pro Series. It'll have all the connectors, terminals, everything you need, but you can custom fit it, hide the wiring, and build it to your build.
There you go, guys. You get rid of that 40-plus-year-old wiring. You get easy-to-read printed wiring. Painlessperformance.com. They've got you covered if you want to go OG Classic or if you want to go something customized. Thanks, Andrew. Painlessperformance.com. Hey, guys. I've got Kathy White, Classic Performance Products, CPP on the line. Kathy, how's it going?
Hey, Ronnie. What's up?
What's up? What's new?
We've got a ton of things for the C10 community. First things first, our 2.5-inch Extreme X10 drop spindle. So we've upgraded the current modular spindle to modern technology. This new X10 spindle is a one-piece forged, but it utilizes strong, modern, bolt-in, internally sealed bearing hub assembly. So it's low maintenance. It doesn't move the wheels out, and you can use big brakes from us or any aftermarket big brakes out there in the market.
That's awesome. What else is new?
So we have actually gone back and redesigned our aluminum fuel tanks. As you know, our fuel tanks are the thickest, strongest, and largest capacity in the industry. But now you can actually use the same tank for either a carbureted or a fuel injection application. 63 to 72, it's 20 gallons, and for 73 and newer, 22-gallon capacity.
How about that Coilover Kit? You guys must be killing it with that thing.
That is such a great kit. It's fully bolt-on. It's easy to install. Strongest tubular arms in the market, available with either upper and lower or just the lowers or just a coilover kit by themselves. All the mounting brackets that you need, and it also comes with dual adjustable coilover shocks. So it's really responsive. It's up to you however you want to tune the compression or the rebound. It's perfect if you're just cruising on the streets, and it's proven on the track.
Well, that's what we like. So if you need spindles, the new X10, fuel tanks, coilovers, they've got it. Classic Performance Products, CPP. And don't forget, use code C10TALK, C10TALK at checkout and save 10%. Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Beautiful, perfect patina. He calls it Ralph. I guess his son named it Ralph. But Steve Williams, Dirty's Chop Shop. You're out of Tennessee. Steve, welcome to C10 Talk. Welcome to the C10 Fall Revival. Tell us about this truck. Where did this thing come from?
This truck actually came off Craigslist out of Kansas. Bought it from the guy, delivered it to Dallas, and I had my guy go get it. It was a long bed to start out with. We had it cut down, made it a short bed. Had to section a few things on the front fenders, but pretty much 90% original sheet metal.
Well, and the patina on this thing, if it had its life in Kansas, do you know what it was doing over there? Was it a farm truck?
Yeah, actually, it was pulled behind a motorhome for most of its life. Had a big old tow bumper on the front. And then sat in the field the last 20 years.
Well, I think it kind of added to it because it's got some, the patina, obviously the front as well. What did you do to kind of cure and massage and bring this patina to life?
I got a buddy over in Knoxville, Russell Cunningham. He, I think he sanded it down quite a bit, and then he put some polish on it, just polished it up, and kind of preserved everything.
Tell us about the journey on this thing. You said your son named it Ralph. How long was the build, and any ups and any downs?
It took us about a year to build it. Me and my buddy Elliot Broyles did. We bought a GSI back half and front kit, got that going, powder coated the frame, bought some Hart Fab goodies front and back. Hardest part was probably the bed, the wood, getting the wood right, getting the substructure right and the hinges and all that. But other than that, everything else went pretty smooth, actually.
Who ended up, come over here, who ended up cutting this thing down? I was checking out this scar right here, but I don't think that's part of the cut down. Yeah, is it part of the cut down right there? Okay, because you guys blended it really good right here. And then you guys did that in-house?
No, we don't do any paint work. Like I said, my buddy Russ over in Knoxville, Russell Cunningham, he did that.
Who cut it down, though?
Local guy, Gary Dale West. He's probably cut 80-something trucks now.
Well, the thing about it on this one is sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. But so they've got scars in the about 1.5 feet in front of the wheel well, and then about 1 foot in the back on a 64, 66, and then you've got your stake pocket filled in. Whereas sometimes now on these I'll see Kyle do more of a front and a back, so it's kind of different folks for different strokes.
Yeah, with this truck, I mean, obviously with the look of it, wasn't really worried about the scars. There's some people that cut them in the front and kind of back in the back at the same where you can't see it, which looks awesome. On this one, it really didn't matter to me. I just actually have him fill that in.
Well, we're kind of in a sunny spot, but it kind of looks tan. At one point, I thought it might be a little bit of a yellow, like not quite a butternut. It does appear to be a tan truck base, right?
Yes, sir, it is. Actually, I can't remember what the color of that is, but they made it in 64 and 65.
Yeah, I mean, it almost is like an exterior fawn with an interior fawn, because obviously on these 64, 60, well, really all of them have an interior fawn. Small back window. The bed floor looks just beautiful. Hard fab rear tubs. Looks like you got a Snowden seat, and then some Dakota Digital gauges, aftermarket AC. You're all the way on the ground. What air management are you using?
I'm using AccuAir as long as I can. Hopefully it'll hang in there.
What system do you got?
I've got the Indo CVT set up. I'm on my second tank, third compressor. Of course, I got the Budnick wheels. I've had those for a while, and then the four-wheel wheel-wood disc brakes.
When you bring it out to a show like this, what's the response?
I mean, a lot of people like the patina. Some people don't, but, it's kind of me.
Is this truck something that you'll keep for a long time? Or you got to have a builder and now you're on to the next journey, or what's your plan?
I plan on keeping it and putting the miles on it.
So tell us about this little Aero Spearhead. What's the story with this thing?
I don't know, man. The guy didn't give me the story on it. It was kind of a surprise when I got it, but I love it. It's probably one of my favorite parts of the truck.
Well, and what he's, just for description base, is front of the hood, the two-finger hole. I was thinking cold air intake, but on the front of the hood, driver front corner is a humongous hole, two-finger hole, and it's kind of a cold air intake. It looks like some spear just went right into this hood, and that is exactly one of those things where, at a certain point with this truck, that would have pissed you off, but now you embrace it, you love it, and it's part of the character.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Steve, we could check you out again. What was your Instagram?
At Dirty's Chop Shop.
At Dirty's Chop Shop. What's the significance of that? It's just you don't ever clean it, or you just back to that two-finger hole?
I got that. No, not the two-finger hole. I got that nickname probably 15 years ago, and it kind of just stuck. So me and my buddy just shade tree back there in the garage. So that's kind of how it started.
Cool. Well, we love your truck. It's one of those things where I'm sure your family and your son dig just going for rides with that in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we wear it out. I've got probably about 1,800 miles on it now. I haven't been driving it maybe 3 or 4 months, so trying to just put some miles on it.
Now, did you debut this at Brian's show out the Southeastern Truck Nationals, or did you have it done before that?
Last year in 19, I had it there. We had the cab forward done, but nothing in the back, just playing the suspension. This year, yeah, it was actually the first big show I took it to was Brian's show.
Cool. Well, congratulations on getting it done, getting it out there, and I'm sure people are loving it.
Yep. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. I ain't going to lie to you guys. I haven't left this little pavilion yet because I don't need to. So many rad builds here. Going to try to kind of get out and really check out what's going on outside. But so many rad trucks. 1968 C10 with Jonathan Day. And one really unique thing here, Jonathan, is this little 250 inside this truck. He's out of Athens, Georgia. And then, again, remind me on your Instagram.
It's _J-Day.
_J-Day. Welcome to C10 Talk and the C10 Nation. I hope you're having a great time at the Fall Revival, and I hope you're getting a lot of love on this beautiful truck. Tell us about your build and what's the story behind this thing?
I've owned the truck for just over 5 years. It took about 3 years to build it. We left the 6-cylinder in it just to be different. It actually came with a V8, and we swapped in the 6-cylinder.
Well, I tell you what, it's one of those things you just don't see that often, is a truck like this, and then you open the hood, and he's even, he's really repping it, and it's saying, hey, 6-banging.
Oh, absolutely. It's something different. It's a focal point for this truck, and folks really seem to like it.
Now, did you decide to, you went fuel injection on it. What was that process like?
It was interesting trying to get it to work. Again, we wanted to do something a little bit different, so we ended up going with Holley Dominator to run twin single-barrel throttle bodies off of actually a 4-cylinder.
Well, and it obviously you're running your overdrive tranny as well, correct?
That's right. It's got a 4L60E, and the Dominator's handling that as well. So.
Isn't it cool how an old 250 will mount right up to, so one thing GM did is they made those trannies mount up to the whole thing, so it's pretty universal. What year is your block?
The block is actually a 63. It was a 230 block, but we made it a 250 by swapping in the 250 crank and pistons.
So you've got a 63 block 250 with, made it up to a, who knows, what, 04, 06, 4L60E, and then all programmed fuel line with the Holley Dominator. Now, let's go ahead. So you've got some buddy buckets in this thing. That's one thing that you see a lot. I mean, you don't see it a lot, but they definitely were more plentiful, I would say, in these early years, right? So you see them in the 67, 68s. And one thing that you don't have is a shifter. How do you shift this thing?
It's actually under the seat. This truck has electric power steering, so I couldn't put a column shifter in. And the shifter is cable operated, and it's under the driver's seat.
When you say electric, so what is that? How did you do that?
It's an electric column. It's common in some of the early 2000s cars. This one's actually out of a Toyota, like a Camry or Corolla. And the column itself has a motor to operate the power steering.
What was your thoughts on that? That seems challenging, but you just harvested it from the junkyard and said, hey, I'd like to put that in the truck?
Well, I did, and with the six-cylinder, we were trying to save on any accessories that might rob power, so we went with electric steering.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That makes sense. So when I look at this, obviously you've got, you are running your AC, newer style compressor, but you're not running a fan because you're running electric fans. So really, you've got your alternator is being run and the AC. So you had to definitely, work with that on a pulley system. What pulley system did you end up running?
That's all homemade. I looked everywhere for a serpentine setup for a six-cylinder, and they just don't exist. So from the water pump to the brackets for the alternator and the compressor, they're all custom made for this.
Yeah, there's definitely, I'm looking at this and you're thinking from an accessory standpoint, very unique on this setup. Beautiful color. Did you guys repaint this?
We did. It's actually a color from the early 2000s, GM color called Cashmere.
Did you have to source those buddy buckets, or were they part of the truck?
I found those afterward. Those are actually a aftermarket seat that's sold by Summit Racing, but it looks almost like a buddy bucket. We just had them upholstered.
Yeah, it does. Does the middle fold up or fold down like a buddy bucket?
It does. The center console is actually a factory buddy bucket console, but the seats are aftermarket.
Oh, that's cool. Bed floor, I was checking this out. Is this a zebra wood, or what wood did you choose?
That is zebra wood, and everybody notices the finish, so I got to give credit to my wife for that one.
Now, did you get that from Marquet? Where'd you end up getting that? I know that zebra wood's one of those things. It's not, you don't just go to Home Depot and pick that up.
Exactly. This is actually, because we were going to use this truck and drive it, knew it would be in the rain and the weather. It's actually a veneer, so it's over a marine plywood, and it's cut into strips just like the bed planks.
Well, and it really accents your truck, the way that you finished it with the interior, the two-tone. You're running a billet handle. What handle are you running?
That's GSI handles.
Okay, GSI billet door handles. You did a great job offsetting the color with the dash pad. Carpet looks to be something that you had custom?
No, the carpet's actually a stock carpet for the truck. All the interior was done by a guy named Kevin Galick out of Tennessee. Yeah.
Okay, I tell you what. So do you call it six banging?
Actually, inline. The tag is inline. The six banging is a sticker that a buddy of mine gave me.
That's cool. Either way, it's a winner. And he's got the inline, the 250, and he's banging all six of those. What a unique truck. What do people think of this truck when they check it out?
I think most people like it. I was surprised at the number of questions I get on where's the shifter. That's the one that really surprised me. I didn't think people would notice. But I think they love the six-cylinder. They seem to like the truck.
I'll tell you what, it's a rad ride, and we're glad that you had time to spend with us today. Jonathan Day, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, one more in the pavilion, maybe a few more, but right now I've been anxiously awaiting this one. Mr. Brian Allen and the 61 Chief. This truck's been getting a lot of media play, Brian, from street trucks to the Builder's Guide. And even I've posted it a few times. There's one where you've got it parked in the garage and just the way it looks. And I'll tell you what, man, it's so ugly that it is just radical. You've got a 61 pig nose that it's just something we don't see that often. These pig nose, done right, it's just one of those trucks. I love everything about what you did. How did you find this truck, and what was your thoughts on it?
So when we started looking for the truck, I was looking for a pig nose because everybody hates them. So I wanted to take it and do something with it to make everybody love a pig nose. So my buddy Eric out in Tulsa, who was building my 53 Bel Air, we got stuck with a painter on that, and I said, man, let's build a truck, man. I want to build a truck. See if you can find me a pig nose. So a week later, he had this truck. It was a long bed, small window, just farm truck, and sold to Bel Air and got to work on this.
Were you excited about the color? Were you excited about the shape? I mean, the blend is just great.
I wasn't excited about the color because it looked super orange in the pictures, and I was kind of iffy about the colors. But once you put it under the lights and put it outside, it's got a nice red look to it. And then once we started kind of taking his vibe and my vibe, keeping it real simple, keeping it real clean, that was kind of the way we were headed with it.
Did you know what you wanted to do? What was your thoughts? When you kind of had your recipe, walk us through the stance, the wheels, and really the blend of everything, including something that you don't see as a darker gray wheel with a orangey red truck.
Well, I mean, I already had, I know I like the small block, clean, simple look. I knew I wanted to run the tubs. Heart Fab has some, slick tubs. I knew I liked the transports. The color gray, I didn't want to go white because I'd already been white. Everybody seems to have a white set of transports, so the gray just seemed to work. I didn't want to go black. And then once we found the wheel color, we just kind of started. We wanted to do the motor and then decided to do the interior.
Chassis-wise?
Chopping block in the front. The rear, stock trailing arms. It's got some Thorburrows brackets, big notch, Porterbuilt Watts Link.
Looks like maybe Porterbuilt hood hinges as well.
Switch
hood hinges, okay. You went with a small block. You left it, matches the wheel color. It's kind of a darker gray. Probably something I would think that you get a lot of comments on is the white bumper. And then really even I don't even know what you technically call these, but the light shades.
Yeah, I guess you call them the brows or something, yeah. The eyebrows, yeah.
Light brows, it's something you just don't see all that often. But on a pig nose, now you guys cleared it, I'm assuming worked it, and then ceramic coated it?
Sanded, buffed, ceramic coated, yeah.
And now what are they saying for the length of that?
He's saying 3 to 5, so we'll see.
Because it does look cleared. It's so shiny under the lights here.
You can kind of see where it didn't take in some places. So that's kind of the thing with ceramic. It takes and it don't take in different spots.
How's it look under the lights out, or I should say more so outside?
It looks good. It's got more of a red hue outside than it does orange like on the inside.
It's cool too because on these older trucks, the 60 and 61s, they still kept it in Apache. So it is an Apache. And interior-wise, you kept it, less is more. Just rocked what you had. You got the beautiful plaid interior. You went with that same, I don't even know what color is that gray. It's kind of a darker gray.
Yeah, it was just a custom mix. So Eric, he does powder coating too, so he powder coated the valve covers, and then we just had a match off the powder coat. So it's just a custom mix, yeah.
Now, something you don't see, you're not going to see it anywhere else today, and it's just something you don't see. You guys kind of did a unique, modern style, I almost something like you see in a restaurant, where you guys did some kind of cool wood feature in the bed.
Yeah, and that's probably the most popular thing about this truck. Everybody comes and they want to see the bed floor. They want to know about the bed floor. It was actually off of Pinterest. It was a piece of wall art, and he just said, man, I think this would be a cool bed floor, and I was like, man, let's do it, man.
So did you take that wall art, or did you just recreate it?
We just recreated it, yeah.
Yep. Now, did you say it was a small back window and you made it a big back window? What conversion? Do you just got a donor?
Yeah, Happy. I think it's Happy Hot Rods.
Oh, Big Happy and Phoenix there. Yep.
Conversion, yep.
Okay, so he's got a Big Happy setup, Heart Fab rears, and then the wood floor that you just don't see all that often. He's got his tank, so you are running the AccuAir, and that is the CVT, all polished, white bumpers in the back. Anything else that you want to do to this truck?
I'm happy with it, man. I'm done with it. I just want to drive it.
Exhaust?
Yes, we do have to. Yeah, we have to bring it. Well, we have MagnaFlows under the cab, so I do want to get it a little further back with the exhaust. It's kind of droney in the cab, but.
Well, will you go all the way back? A lot of times on these trucks, guys like to put them out right in front of the wheel well. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to the wheel well. If I can get it to the front of the wheel, I'd be happy.
Okay, the Chief, and why'd you name it the Chief?
Because it's an Apache.
Apache Chief, and it's red, and well, I don't know. Can we say that anymore?
I think so. We can say it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's the Washington football team. So you named it the Chief. Obviously, it's an Apache. I love the name. I love the character. There's really nothing not to love about this thing mobbing down the road. You got to be stoked about it. You've been in the scene, C10 Club South Carolina. You've been around. You've been to the Get Down. You've been all over. What do people say when they see this thing?
Man, they love it, man. Everybody just tells me how much they love it. It's a good feeling.
And that's got to be a great feeling.
It is. Yep. I enjoy watching people, look at it and enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a rad truck. again, less is more, the stance, everything that you guys did. Now, what happened here? It's got a little unique love on this bed right here. Almost looked like somebody played around with it.
Yeah, you know, when you shorten these long beds, you got that third.
Oh, the stake hole, that's what it was, yeah. So when you guys did shorten it, you guys did the front and rear, so the only thing really was just that stake hole.
Yep.
Now, who did the shortening?
Galvin Speed Shop in Oklahoma.
And he's done a few, I think, right? Yeah, okay. Galvin Speed Shop, or is it Galvin Speed Shop? So this thing's been a little bit of there, a little bit of there. Brian, we love the Chief. It's getting a lot of love out here. What do you think about this show?
Man, so far it's been great, man. Ton of trucks, ton of good people. So, yeah, I'll be back next year for sure.
Okay, well, we look forward to seeing you. Thanks for everything you do. C10 Club South Carolina, Brian Allen, the Chief, 1961 Apache. Thanks, brother.
Thank you, sir.
C10 Nation, let me tell you about my buddies Travis, his dad Jack. They run Pro Performance, AZ Pro Performance. They're active in our community. They're C10 guys. They're always working on new stuff, like their new suspension line, React Suspension. They're master dealers for Coda Digital, Bear, Boyd Welding, Vintage Air, and many more. They're C10 specialists and stock many fast-moving products backed by their stellar customer service. Not only do they sell C10 parts, but they live and breathe C10s and are very active in our community. Like I said, look for them at your next truck show. Nick might be there if they let him out, but usually Travis and his dad, Jack, and they want to talk to you and help you out with your C10 project. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and you can also check out their Facebook group called C10 Addiction. So check them out and let them know that I sent you. Hey guys, I have Greg Carpet from Dakota Digital on. Greg, why should we choose Dakota Digital?
Ronnie, I think we're the best. If you want something that looks cool and fits in the dash, we've got that. If you want something that's going to work with either a 327 or an LS3 or anything in between, we can do that. We've got a ton of direct fit instrument systems for all these pickups, and then we've got some modules that'll plug into the computer for your LS, your LT, pull all the info straight out of the computer, put it in the cluster. So it's really the easiest, most functional, most user-friendly package on the market.
I agree. And the cool thing is, from the modern perspective of technology, you can even use your phone if you need to.
Yeah, our HDX and RTX lines of instrumentation, so our newest platforms we've released, do have a mobile app, and you can put that on your phone or your tablet. So not only speed calibration and color selections and all of the setup parameters can be done on your phone or tablet, you can also run the real-time gauges. So if you're, say, under the hood working on something, you can have the oil pressure and the coolant temp pulled up so you don't have to run back and forth. So app is really a nice upgrade on these.
You want the look, you want the performance, and you want to be able to see your gauges. Dakota Digital. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Sammy brought me out to the east side over here, and I see this orange on orange 72 Cheyenne, and I tell you what, man, it sucked me right in. So Matt Kleiner, North Carolina, where are you at again?
Mooresville,
North Carolina. Tell us a little bit about this 72, how you got it, and really kind of what it means to you.
So my father actually found this truck. He pulled up at a gas pump in High Point, North Carolina in 2003, and he saw an old man pumping gas into this truck. And my dad was driving a 70 long bed at the time, and he went up to the guy and said, please sell me this truck, because he knew what it was. And the old man said, you know what, I bought it brand new off the dealership lot in 72, and I'm just not ready to part with it yet. And my dad said, you know what, I understand that, but let me write down my name and number. And so he just ripped a little piece of paper off of something he had out of the glove box and wrote down his name and number. Never thought he would ever hear back from the guy again. But a year later, the guy called and said, hey, you remember me? And honestly, my dad didn't remember him. And as soon as he said orange truck, he's like, I'm coming. And so he bought the truck in 2003 from the original owner. And didn't do a whole lot to it, stored it in the dry. Thankfully he did that. And then when I started realizing that it was what it was, I told him that I was going to take it and do it up right. And the rest is history.
Now, in 2003, was this something that you were riding around with Dad? Is this something where Dad drove it a lot, or was he thinking, hey, I know what I found, I just want to kind of preserve this really sweet 72?
He's thinking he knows what he found. He didn't really do a lot to it. He put points in it, spark plug wires, and really probably only drove it once every 6 months. But he just preserved it. He just kept it in the dry, which was the best thing he could have done.
And at what point did you think, I want to get my hands on this thing? At what point did you, as a young man in 03, you probably weren't interested. Eventually, something got a hold of you.
I started realizing what he had about 5 years ago. And I honestly, I wasn't at a point in my life where I could give it what it needed until about 5 years ago. And then when the time came around and I got a shop big enough to give it a good home, we worked it out to where, this is what I'm going to do to the truck. And, it's going to stay in the family. And are you okay with it? And he said, go for it.
One of the things that you did, we talked a little bit before, that you did to preserve this truck is the motor. And you kind of came across really a turning point or a situation where you had to make a decision. Walk us through that.
So, I kind of had the idea that I wanted to drive this truck a lot and I wanted to daily it. So, I was going to jump on the LS bandwagon. And I actually went and bought a 6.0 with a matching 4L80. Low mileage motor. Great deal I got on it. Brought it back to the shop. Started tinkering around with it, cleaning it up. And I raised the hood out on this truck one night. I was out there late and I raised the hood. And I just started looking at what wiring harnesses I was going to have to cut. And what I was going to have to unbolt, and I just couldn't do it. I just literally couldn't make that first cut. The truck is so original. So I'm just like, you know what? It's the original motor. It's been in here since '72. I'm going to rebuild it and put it back in. It's been this good until now. It can stand the test of time. It already has. Yeah. So I put it back original.
Yeah, somewhat of a purist moment, right? Yeah. Hey, this motor doesn't deserve to be separated from this truck, and you've kept it. You polished it. It's got the right wheels. It's got the right caps, everything about this. And we talked a little bit about this. We're at this point where going back to OG, keeping it pure, keeping it classic, is really going to start to get to a point where people are going to, they're going to walk by the LS truck and they're going to be like, oh, damn, he's got this inline 250 in this truck. Take a look at this.
Absolutely. I'm seeing it more and more. I mean, people, when you look at it, and it's the oddball in the lineup for sure. It's the oddball, but when you do it nice and you preserve it and you do it tastefully, it will always stand up. It will hold its own ground.
One thing that I'll kind of do in a little video as well is it's a really low option Cheyenne. No AC, no radio. I can't remember if there was a cigarette lighter or not, but it's got a trim, a high-low trim. It's not a two-tone, and it's got the Cheyenne seat and the Cheyenne door panels, 72 style, but which is really kind of cool to see. And again, with the radio delete on the cowl, you're not getting that antenna. So all in all, it's just a really classic truck. What does your dad think about it, now that he sees it?
Oh, he absolutely loves it. So a funny story about everything I was doing to the truck. He loved the way I was cleaning it up. He loved the idea of putting the motor back. But I had to lower it without telling him, because I know that's, it's not original to lower it, but I just think it looks good. So I actually lowered it down, put the factory wheels back on it, powder coated with a PO1 caps, and they were coming down for, I think, maybe Thanksgiving or Christmas. I can't remember which. And I just had it sitting in the driveway when I knew they were getting ready to get there. And he pulled up, and he didn't get out of the car. He just sat there and looked at it for 15 minutes. Didn't get out of the car. And
your heart's red.
Oh my God!
Dad, don't get mad.
Oh, I thought it was coming. I was like, oh no, I disappointed him. But
I can reverse it.
He gets out, and I'm standing there, and I'm just smiling,
ear to ear.
Yeah, and he walks up and he sticks his hand out, and he gives me a real firm shake. So he approved.
That's got to be a good handshake when the old man approves. And you're right, these old boys, when they're stock height, they almost look four-wheel drive nowadays. But you put a 4.6, 3.5, 4.6, 3.5. Okay, so a 3.5 on it, wheels, everything about it. You did a great job. Do you have a name for this thing?
I just call it OG. Some people at my work are calling it cream puff.
I like OG. I mean, because it's orange and it's OG and it really works, and you've got a classic. Do you think that you would sell it, or is it something where, are you the type of guy where it's like, I would sell it for the right price, or is it something I don't really ever want to sell?
I don't think there's a price on it. I just don't think I could do it, because one, you take the money, and how do you buy another one? How long do you look for another one? And it still doesn't have the same storyline. something else I didn't tell you about this. My uncle, so the old man that worked at that bought this truck new in 72 worked at the post office in High Point. Okay, my Uncle Johnny worked at the post office with this guy for 30 years. Tried to buy the truck every day. Pulled it in the parking lot every single day and saw this truck sitting there and asked him weekly to sell it.
And then your dad ends up with it.
He knew my uncle was a used car salesman. He knew he was going to turn around and sell it 2 days later and make a buck on him. He didn't want to sell it to a guy that was just going to resell it on his dime.
Did the old man know that the guy he sold it to was related by chance? Did they even know?
I think he did, because when my dad wrote down his name and number, he wrote down his full name, his last name. So he knew he was a Kleinert. So I think it was like a ha-ha, I got you type thing. Yeah. You know, I'm selling it to your nephew.
What does your uncle think now?
Oh, he wouldn't even talk to my dad for about 6 months.
He's pissed because your dad got one up on him.
He literally saw this truck for 30 years. Every day.
Well, it kind of is a family heirloom. Now when you say it like that.
Well, that's why I don't have a price.
Is the old man still around?
Honestly, I don't know.
You need to see if he is. Yeah. And if he still has the wherewithal to see something like this. Because I tell you what, if this was my girl, it'd make me sad to see it, but it'd make me proud to see it and see what you did with it.
The protective plate's in the glove box with his name on it, so it wouldn't be too hard to track him down.
Your uncle probably knows how the hell to get a hold of him. Yeah. Not that big of a town, but so let's wrap it up. I love the OG. I love what you did with it. What do you think about the show and really the C10 movement and what you got going here? Because he's got not just one, but he's got another really cool blue 6970 that was like a marina truck. I took a picture just of the door because the door is kind of a cool insignia on it, but you're in the C10 movement, you're in the nation. What do you think about this show?
This show is fantastic. The weather just totally cooperated with us. We were kind of worried all week with the forecast, but it's just perfect. The location's perfect, and the people as a whole in the C10 community is really the best part about it. I've met so many people, great people doing this. And just sparked up friendships. And if you need anything, you call this guy and you call this guy. And even though they might not really want to sell it and they need it, they'll help you out. And you do the same for them. So it's just a really tight-knit community. And I couldn't be happier about, making this my hobby. It's really a great deal.
What do you do? Speaking of hobby, what do you do for your job?
I'm a fabricator.
Okay, so you got that in your bloodline. Where do we get you on social media?
Well, I'm on Instagram, Matt Kleinert, and Facebook's the same, so nothing fancy.
Any underscores, anything like that? Just Matt Kleinert?
Yep, Matt Kleinert.
Okay. There's a D at the end?
Yep, CLINARD.
Okay, Matt Kleinert, check him out, and you can check out the OG and the Marina truck, little 6970. Matt, thanks for your time. Thanks for your contribution to the community, and thanks for being a guest on C10 Talk.
Hey, man, thanks for spending some time with me.
Late. All right, guys, this is a good one. Intervention and all the way out to C10 Fall Revival, and I just got word that they are going to make the trek as well to the Get Down. So Israel, Syra, Dirty Sanchez Customs, you guys have had an amazing journey with the 77 Blazer. Tell us about not only what prompted this and or provoked this and how it's been going. So start from the beginning, Israel.
Well, Syra's the one that kind of got us into doing the road trips. We came out here in North Carolina about 3 years ago to Bryson City with my dad, just hanging out, wanted to, do a local car show or meet or something, just see what the C10 guys are up, what they're doing here. And she came across Brian Ashley's show, and it wasn't until, I think, a month afterwards, so we told her, I was like, she had the idea, let's go. And I was like, get back home, we get ready, and make the drive up there. And at the time I had that white dually, and we did that. We drove all the way through and made it and met a bunch of people. I mean, everybody there, they treated us like we're at home. So, I mean, it was awesome, just the brotherhood that's there, that's what keeps everything going. And seeing different trucks, versus what everything, I've seen almost everything in Texas already. So, what's in other states, what other shows, supporting other people's shows, your friends' shows here and that, and that's the biggest thing, just showing that love. And I think we did the SCTN 3 times so far. We've gone to Dino's once. That was the first time we went to Dino's, 2018. We made the trip to Dino's straight through, and then I wanted to push the envelope, and I really wanted to go to California. I've never been to California. So we made plans to do C10 intervention, and we made that trip, and that was was a trip from hell. I'm not gonna lie, but it really tests my limits of my knowledge and my capabilities. And I mean, with some simple hand tools, a bunch of good friends, and C10 Club all the way. I mean, to me, that trip alone stood for what C10 Club stands for across, the board. Just helping each other out, people being good people, and being there when you need them. And I think that was the biggest thing. But honestly, I probably wouldn't have done none of that without her.
For the audience, it was really cool to follow you and your journey, right? And then we saw you guys up at the intervention, but you got a 77 K5 Blazer. You guys drove it all the way. One of the things that I remember talking to you about was, you're like, the damn starter, we can't even turn the thing off because we won't be able to start it again. And so some of the different things that you kind of had to work through, trials and tribulations over the course of that trip, going from Texas to NorCal and then working your way all the way back. And there was some different delayments and different issues.
Yeah, I mean, our first issue I had, we went to eat, took my daughter to eat before we even left Houston. It was her birthday coming up. We were planning on being back, but it took a little bit longer. So we took them out to eat. And since the Blazer's lowered the tailpipe, I backed into a corner and I didn't realize, curb. I didn't realize it was going to have any problems. Well, I ended up bending the exhaust tube, and it started making the header bolts loose. And I guess eventually on the way it developed an exhaust leak, which in turn made a valve cover leak, and we're smoking down the road looking like Cheech and Chong. It was just pulled over on the side of the road, fixed on the side of the freeway, and back on the road. And then I think we had a power steering pump issue. The bearing gave out, and I was on a serpentine belt system, and that pretty much shut us down. So we had to get it towed, and ran a shorter belt, kind of bypassed, and we were back on the road the next day. We went up to Fort Stockton, met up with Hot Rod Dave. He helped us out. We had lunch with him, and then that's when we started having starter issues. The outside, it's a small block, it's a 383, and the outside bolt hole broke off from the block, and then it sheared the inside bolt off. So it was like nothing holding it on. So we tried to drill and tap the one that was left and put a helicoil in it, and that worked until we got probably into California, and it started having issues after that, and couldn't figure it out. And I think with that belt messing up also messed up our water pump, and Dino helped us out when we got to Phoenix. I called Dino, and he was like, hey man, if you can, order me a water pump. And we went to Dino's and we swapped it out, and we left his place at midnight to California. And then going through Phoenix and New Mexico, we had a lot of vapor lock issues. I went through 3 fuel pumps just because crap China, fuel pump, man. Quality of parts is just, it's not there no more. So, I mean, it's a lot of that. And then I think when we finally made it to California, that's when the starter issue started getting really bad. And Hot Rod Dave turned me on to this. It's an adapter that the Tri-5 Chevys use for the bell house mounted starter, and luckily Classic Industries had them. After intervention, we drove back down, parked at John Orrell's house. He took us to all sightseeing, breakfast, and then we went to Classic Industries. And dude, that thing they kind of gave us an issue at first, and then they told us it was a 24 to 40 hour wait on the parts. And we were just like, damn, well, we kind of told them the story, like where we're from, kind of, what we're going through. And
throw us a bone.
Yeah, they gave it to us within the hour. And we were like, hell yeah. So we went, found a starter, took it back to John's house, and we knocked it out. But I mean, dude, the C10 Club over there in California was awesome. I mean, Nacho over there, he helped us out a ton, man. He was always there. He see us pull over. He was there in a heartbeat. He turned around, checked on us, make sure everything was good.
I remember at the intervention, he was laying underneath the Blazer, and I walked up to the Blazer, and Nacho was underneath there. You know what I mean? So you guys make it home, and then you decide to come to this. What's going through your mind?
I mean, we had already, on the way to intervention, I had already committed to coming here. So there was no turning back. We're going to do it. So we get the Blazer home. Israel works on it. It was down for maybe about a week. And after that, we just started driving it. I mean, it's my daily. I don't have any other vehicle. That's my vehicle. So I started driving it around. It's had minor issues, but nothing major, and it did really well. So I was like, let's do it. I think we can do it. And thankfully, it was very uneventful.
Your heart and soul is almost like, now you're like what to expect, right? So now you're like the truck gods are now, paying it forward for you guys, because it's like, hey, we went from Houston all the way to Northern California. But the cool thing is, look at the situational that you, in theory, not in theory, practicality, look at what you've done and the people you've met that have gotten your back, and even from social media to people checking in on you and the journey, and you going from Houston to the intervention in NorCal, back home, Houston to North Carolina. And what were you saying, this trip's going to be like 2,200 round trip?
Yeah, round trip was like 2,200 miles.
So uneventful to this point. You're here.
So far, everything's been good, so can't complain. Just every gas station we're stopping at.
So you guys are going to go to the Get Down now. You've got these 3 shows in a matter of September, October, and November. I'm looking at my map. Trying to count my months out. And you will probably have close to almost 10,000 miles. So Houston to NorCal is 4,500. Houston to here, Oakboro, 2,200. What is it going to run to go to Phoenix and back?
Phoenix, man, I think it's a little over 1,000 miles, if I'm not mistaken. So another, there and back, it's like maybe another 2,000-ish.
When we go to Conroe, it's 2,500, right? So when we go from Phoenix to, so it's like 20. Let's call it 2,500. But either way, you guys are going to be just shy of 10 grand in 3 months in a 77 K5 Blazer.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, that's why any of my trucks, I get in it and I'll drive it, I'll drive the hell out of it. I mean, that's what I build them for. That's my biggest thing, And even my customers, that's why they come. They want a truck they can drive, and not just down the street to a buddy's house, out of state, just drive the f out of it. I mean, I can't.
You can say that.
Okay. But I mean, that's what I pride myself on: getting something you can get in and drive it, and not have to worry about it. And then practicality too. I mean, you don't want to put all these nice, expensive aftermarket parts to where if you're on the road, you can't replace them, Well,
that brings me to a great point, because I always like to kind of turn that and say, what do we share with the community? If you're going to drive your shit, then make sure you have spare parts, right? Yeah. So some of those top, a water pump, a fuel pump, a starter. I mean, I've even heard of guys throwing in different separate carburetors, every assortment of belts. And, the nice thing for us in the C10 Chevy GMC world is there's a shit ton of parts out there, right, that you can get from something else, call somebody, or some of these guys in the let's say the Dodge community or something, it's like you ain't finding that. So you guys have learned, hey, I got to throw a lot of parts in my ride.
Yeah. Well, I always try to kind of stay at top of the game, like little parts here and there that that's probably going to go out, like ignition modules, coils, something like that, extra wire or two. You never know what you might have, what problem you have. I mean, I understand sometimes some of the bigger problems, like your starter, your alternator, stuff like that, but I mean, it's not something you can't, always keep in mind something, you got to replace it, you got to be able to find it. You don't want to be able to I got to overnight it from Jegs or Summit or something where it's going to cost 3 times the time of, the cost of the part. To get something you can get at your local Napa, O'Reilly's or whatever, or have it within that day.
It's one of those things I feel like, too. If I go down my checklist of 15 things, from a water pump to a fuel pump and everything, if I got it, I won't need it. If I don't have it, I'm going to need it. So get yourself set up. Maybe a group of 3 or 4 of you all share the same parts or whatever, if you're all running, small blocks, big blocks, or whatever it is. So you guys are getting ready. What would you do if you could to the Blazer? What's the next thing if we said, hey, here's this much money, or you've got some downtime this off season? What do you want to happen to the Blazer, or, what's the next upgrade?
So Israel's been trying to convince me to Ellis swap it. Definitely not looking forward to that. So I don't want to do that, but I don't know. He's been working on it. But for my birthday, I asked for a sniper. So I want to get the new sniper. We'll see if I get that. And then I don't think I want to do any kind of exterior or paint and body until next year. But probably finish up the interior. I want to finish up the interior.
Cool. Interior. definitely, because he kind of rolled his eyes. Sniper over the season, and then get ready because we'll be right back into Houston come February.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm ready for it. I mean, I'm look forward to Dino's too. I'm planning on getting an overdrive trans in there before, kind of help on the. Right now, getting like 7 to 8 miles a gallon. So I mean, it luckily has a big enough tank, but still you're having to stop a lot.
So you're gonna run a 700 R4 in there before they get down?
No. I'm planning on doing the 4L70 out of a Trailblazer Super Sport. I got the standalone module, the GM conversion torque converter that goes on there. Just get the drive shaft done and call it a day.
Good. Overdrive is going to be a nice little bonus. And like you said, it's going to help with the fuel mileage. It's going to help with just, really everything, the RPM, the wear and tear on the motor. We'll be watching. For the audience out there, you guys can check them out. Dirty Sanchez Custom. They drive their shit. I mean, literally, we're going to be the 10K club in a 3-month period of time. It is remarkable what you guys have done. I'm glad that the community has rallied around you, behind you, and supported everything you've done. And that's really a testament to the scene to support you guys, because you're out here supporting really the community.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like I said, I can tell you guys, everybody's like, man, you got some balls to be doing this and this and that. I was like, dude, just get in and drive it. Just build something, do it right the first time. There's a lot of guys out there, they kind of like, well, I'll get to this later. I'll get to that later. It's like, dude, just do it then. Do it now. Get it over with. And just enjoy the hell out of the ride,
Syra, for you, it's cool because this isn't something that a lot of wives and girls do with their guys, to be sitting passenger or driving and doing these road trips. What do you take out of this?
I mean, I honestly enjoy the road trips. And then, of course, we do get to stop at places along the way. So we'll do like hiking along the way, or wineries, distilleries. We get to do all that little stuff. But I mean, road tripping is my favorite part about it. I think I enjoy it more than the show. I shouldn't really say that, but I do enjoy the road trip part more than the show. And so I'm always the one pushing him, and I'm like, oh, they got the C10 Revival going on. We should go. And he's just like, he stresses out because he thinks about like, well, I have to rush stuff up at work, make sure things get done at work so that I can take the time off. And then, of course, he's the one that stresses out on the road if anything breaks down. But I do enjoy the road trips, so I do it for the road trips.
Cool. Well, we're glad. I love the road trip part of it too. I mean, I love the show part, but sometimes the adventure and/or the journey is the adventure, right? Getting there, it's really, in comparison to the show, uneventful, because the journey can be the biggest part, which you guys have proven for that. So we'll look to see you here in 3 weeks with an overdrive tranny and the 77. Do you guys have a name for that thing?
Call it the Dirty 77.
It even probably got more of a capitalization on that after California. So the Dirty 77, check them out on social media, Dirty Sanchez Customs. You guys, thank you for your time, and good luck this next couple weeks and getting home.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I look forward to it.
See you guys.
Thank you, Ronnie. Appreciate it.
C10 Fall Revival, taking it out in style. We've got Big Casey, we've got Lou, the two that kind of create this show. I tell you what, guys, I follow along, obviously, watched everything that happened last year. And I don't like to get too number based, but obviously you guys, we all know it was probably about 250 last year. You guys blew it out of the water. Second show, what are you thinking, Lou?
All right, man. So same weather from last year, nice and sunny. The same. I mean, just the atmosphere is incredible. The people that came out, but we're around 860 this year, so we basically almost tripled. And man, I mean, we couldn't ask for a better turnout. Couldn't ask for a better folks to come and join us, the vendors, the spectators, man, our California buddies, Arizona buddies, all the states, Georgia, Alabama. I mean, just thank you to everybody. The reception, thank you. Appreciate it.
It's a great job. It's a great venue, and it's set in a house for the audience. It's a big house with a lot of property and trees all around us. The weather was phenomenal today. You've got a huge barn where the shop is. You guys have probably seen a lot of that on social media. And really the quality of the trucks, the quality of the builds, and at the end of the day, what it's all about is the people. So you guys did a great job.
Thanks, man. We're so appreciative of those that came out and partaked in this, and we're looking forward to next year. It's going to be great.
I know from talking to you, Casey, that you and Lou got together, and you're seeing what happens all over the country. 2 years ago, you're like, we need to do this for last year's, and you guys did it. And to think 2 years from that point, when you sat down, you started making those decisions, started making some calls, that you'd have 800 trucks here for the second show, I mean, it's kind of a pinch me moment.
Oh, it's humbling because it's, we're a little town in North Carolina, and just to be able to draw this type of crowd and people from all over the United States, it's humbling. It really is.
I think the key should be like, hey, have truck show, people will travel, right? Because people, you build it, people are going to come, and people are going to fly in, people are going to drive in, people are going to come from all over. And I don't really know the map as well as I probably should, but you're right. You mentioned it. I even saw somebody South Dakota. You've got South North Carolina. I didn't see any Florida. I'm sure there probably was. Okay. Oh, yeah, Chuck C was here. So, yeah, you've got a very diverse group of people coming in. Great location, great trucks, great venue. It's a big deal.
Yeah, man. I mean, C10C. I mean, Jason Bullock. Brian Ashley. I mean, man, thank you guys so much for your support. It means the world to us that you guys have the confidence in us, myself, Casey, the rest of the team, and we got to give kudos to the rest of the team. I mean, the wives, Tony, Cody, the family that owns Smith Concrete. Man, we couldn't do this without those cats. It would not be possible without them. And we're just so grateful and thankful for them and just for the support of the C10 community. Oro, man, hope we made everybody proud this year, and we're only going to do better next year.
That's what we'd like to hear. We'll be back. We love it. Any big changes that you're thinking about already as you wrap up the second show for the third year that you can disclose?
To be continued.
You come on. Come on, to be continued. C10 Fall Revival 2020 in an era and an age of, just some things that we have going on in this world. We're looking forward to seeing you guys in 3 weeks. The get down is around the corner, but I'll tell you what, this is a fun time in a time that's a little strange for all of us. So thank you for putting it together. Thank you for your hospitality, and thanks for having us out.
Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you October 23rd, 2021. C10 Fall Revival. Don't forget it.
Don't forget it. October 23rd, 2021. Mark your calendar. Get your day off at work. Put in for that vacation. Case, thanks for all you do. Any last comments?
Late.
You stole my move.
That's all, folks.